Well, hello everybody, Karl here from Glencoe Photography. Now, I'm not in Glencoe today, I'm a bit further south, about 20 minutes drive south of Glencoe, heading towards Port Appin, and the reason here is I've got Castle Stalker behind me, and what I want to do is try and get a sunset shot with a castle, and that's beautiful sunset coming down to the side of it. Now, we're in August here, so what happens is the sunset's quite far over to the right-hand side of the castle, so it's actually no good shooting it from the usual place, which is the other side, just from Castle Stalker Cafe down the way. So this time of year, the sun is so far over that I've come to Port Appin and I've come this side. So I'm going to try and have a little shot. I think there's a bit of gap in the clouds and we get some nice rays coming down. So fingers crossed we get some beautiful light and those lovely rays coming down. So come and join me as I shoot Castle Stalker at sunset. Yeah, so what to do is to drive on down towards Port Appin, and what you come to is a little sign called Jubilee Bridge, and just after that there's a little pull in a car park. You can park your car there and you can head on towards Jubilee Bridge. And in fact, Jubilee Bridge is quite interesting because it was built in 1885 for Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee, so it's been hanging around here for quite a while, and it sits over this lovely salt marsh, and there's quite a little bit of flora and fauna on this salt marsh. It's quite interesting actually, but what it also does is it looks out towards Loch Lilly and obviously Castle Stalker. So I'm going to head along the bridge here and hopefully get a good composition where the castle itself is kind of in the silhouetted in the background and not overlapped with the landscape behind it, which is what it is here. Okay, let's head on. Yes, I've walked towards the bridge. In fact, I've come down on this salt marsh itself. The tide's quite a lot in. It's pretty much in, so should be going out a little bit. I probably need a bit of the tide coming out because I can get these lovely salt marshes in the shot if I can. And just in the distance, you can just see it there. That little shadow there is in fact Castle Stalker itself. And I've done a couple of videos on Castle Stalker. I'll pop a link up there to do with drones and telephoto shots. But the castle itself is quite interesting. It's like most modern castles in Scotland. The ones that are intact generally swap sides continuously, and this is the same here. So it's flip sides from the Campbell to the Stuarts quite regularly. But it's actually quite an interesting little tale. I mean, they used to fight amongst themselves all the time, constantly. So, in fact, in 1463, the owner of the castle, John Stuart, was in fact murdered on his wedding day outside the church by disinfected MacDougall. So, honestly, they were scrapping to each other all the time. His son managed to escape and became a clan chief eventually, right enough. So good. Okay, what I'm going to try and do is I've got the long lens with me because I knew I was going to be quite a distance back. So what I want to do is I want to be far away because I want that long lens, and it's just going to bring that castle to make it a lot bigger than it actually looks from this location. There is a few little nice sort of gaps in the cloud, and there is some beautiful rays coming down. So if I can incorporate some of those, that'll be even better as well. Cool, let me go and get my tripod set up then, and let's see if we get a decent shot. Yes, what to say? Oh dear. This is the joys of being a landscape photographer. So this is sunset now, and it is absolute I would say granny's pants. It really is. Yeah, I'm not going to get anything. So I think what I'm going to do is, this is a good recce mission. I think this is probably a good thing to say, is because I'm always optimistic. Always take something out of your photography, even if it's a fail. So I kind of like this location. I think what I'm going to do is explore this area a bit more. So I'm going to come back when the weather's a bit better. I was hoping for more breaks in the cloud. The report was a bit better than what it actually is. But yeah, this is pretty much sunset now, and there's not a break in the cloud at all. So that's a bit disappointing, but I'm going to use this as a recce mission. So when the weather's good, I'm going to come back to this vlog and we'll have another go. So you'll see me next time, possibly dressed differently, and hopefully the weather will be better. I'm back, hooray! So it's a few days later, you can see the lights totally changed. What I wanted to do actually is, when I was doing that, and it's a good example of a good recce mission, I could see where sunset was going to be the other day, and it just weren't quite far enough over as I thought it was going to be. I think sort of late June, early July, it's probably a lot further over, and it's really coming back again now. So where I was over by the Jubilee Bridge, right on the bridge there, I was just too far over for that sun to set. So what I've decided to do is instead of going over that way, I parked at Castle Stalker Cafe, which is closed unfortunately, but there is a track all the way down that gets you back onto the footpath and gets you to the classic spot for Castle Stalker, and here it is here. So you can see the sun is really going well here. So what I want to do is I kind of want to head up towards Jubilee Bridge, which is just back that way, but I'm going to go and sort of hug the beach a little bit just to get the right composition where the sun is kind of setting in the right space for me with the castle. As you can see from here, I've got the sun over my shoulder here, which is actually quite a nice shot at the moment. But obviously as that sun's going to come round, it's going to come all the way over to my right here as I'm looking at the castle. And that's just not going to work for me, I don't think. Yeah, this is a really beautiful location for when you're kind of in the winter time, because what actually the sun does is the sun sets right over just to the left hand side of the castle. So kind of December, January time, it's fantastic. Just sets over there so you can get the castle, and you can see there's like a little boulder in the foreground as well. So you can kind of get the sun setting in between the castle and the boulder, and it just looks really spectacular. But like I say, this time of year it's coming all the way over this way. So I'm going to walk up the beach a bit here and see if I can get a decent composition. Yes, I've moved around the beach a little bit. You might be wondering why I'm looking like compo at a last of the summer wine, particularly when it's really roasting here. And it's just because Castle Stalker, it's quite a flat bit of land just comes onto the beach here, and the tide comes in really quickly. So it's really easy to get caught out, and the next minute you know you're onto water, your feet are wet, your camera's getting soaked, and your bag's drifting off to Castle Stalker. So I always advise coming with some wellies on at this location. I can't tell you how quick this tide is coming in. Within a matter of 5 minutes, the tide has moved a good 10 feet in front of me, so you really are got to keep your wits about you. The good thing is I've got this little boulder I'm sitting on here. Now, what time are we on now? So I've got about an hour to sunset, so I'm hoping by this rapid rising tide it's going to surround this boulder, and then I can use that as a little bit of foreground interest. Cool, okay, let's carry on and see if this tide comes in anymore. Okay, that's the tide coming in lovely now. So I think the sun might set just behind the castle annoyingly, so I'm going to probably have to move location here. I fired the drone up, and I kind of keep it away from the castle, so I've used the zoom lens, but keep it a good way away from the castle just out of courtesy. But what I did do is I got a couple of shots up in the castle with the drone high up, and it looks lovely. I really like it with that sun coming down, that golden light. It's like almost like a silhouette. So I bracketed this shot, and stitched it all together, and yeah, I think it looks quite nice. So here's the image of the drone shot of Castle Stalker just before sunset. Yeah, okay, I think I'm in a good position. I've probably got about another 15-20 minutes before that sun just meets the top of the mountain, which is what I'm looking for. Maybe a bit of sunburst coming over the top with a castle on the left-hand side. I'm going to talk you through the composition. So here's the castle here. You can just see the sun just poking out from the castle here, and it's going to set something like that down here. So that's the shot. I'm loving this, kind of this little valley here, and I'm balancing the image out with this little island on the left-hand side with that beautiful golden light. I'm going to walk a bit forward and try and get above this seaweed so I can get a nice reflection. And then what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to throw on a bit of a 6-stop filter just to slow those ripples down to give me that lovely golden light on the castle itself. Okay, I'm all set up. Now it's just a bit of a waiting game. And if this shot works, here's the image. Yeah, so this is a good example, as if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. And I just knew that first day, I was a bit disappointed, but it didn't matter because I used it as a recognition and it allowed me to get into this position because I knew I weren't quite in the right place the other day. So it was okay to have a fail first time because what that's allowed me to do is to come back and have a little bit of a reconsider of my composition. And I ended up with this wonderful shot of Castle Stalker at sunset. Well, not an awful lot else to say, but thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you on board with these videos. If you can do me a favour, give me a thumbs up. It always helps with the old algorithm. If you like this content, go on the subscribe as usual. And if you click on the bell icon, it informs you every time I post. I'm not posting very often, so I just do it for a bit of fun. So every 3 weeks or so. Oh yeah. It is, I'm just filming myself, it's okay. That's all right. I can scrub that one, don't worry.